Hi everyone. So today what we're going to do is we're going to review factoring, and then we're going to harder levels of factoring, and I'll give you examples of that once we get there. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the way we used to factor, and you guys all did a speed run of this already. So if I write x squared plus 5x plus 4, if you guys could factor that for me. If I write x squared plus, let's do 9x plus 20. Actually, no, let me change this one slightly. I want to change the middle number to negative. So if you guys could factor that one for me, and if you guys also factor for me x squared minus 3x minus 10 for me. So go ahead and work on these three. And so hopefully you guys are done with a few of these. The way we do these, if you remember, we go ahead and we write the possibilities on the top: 1, 4, 2, and 2. And which of these add up to become 5? Hopefully you notice that's 1 and 4. X, X, and we can write the 1 and 4 the numbers. Now what signs would they have to be plus? If they're plus 1 and plus 4, they would multiply to become plus 4. And if they add 1 plus 4, it would be positive 5. So they're plus plus. Look on the next one. Numbers that multiply to become 20. You're probably thinking 4 and 5. Naturally, you're thinking 4 and 5. Maybe some of you guys are thinking 2 and 10, right? So I'm going to write them out so you guys can see them. 1, 10, 2, so 1, 20, 2, 10, and 4, 5. Now, which of these add up to become 20, multiply to become 20, but add up to become 9? And that's 4 times 5, right? 4 times 5, multiply to become 20, but they add up to become 9. So we can write x, x, and 4 and 5. So we know what the numbers are, but the signs are the ones that are a little bit tricky here. And in this case, we need to make a negative 9. So if I make them both negative here, negative 4 times negative 5, negative times negative is a positive, but yet when I add them together, negative plus negative is more negative, and that just gives us a negative 9. The last one is our hint. Just a reminder, if we have a plus in the back, that means we're going to add them because they're either going to be plus plus or minus minus. But if we end up with a negative in the back, that means one of the signs has to be negative. 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Now which of these multiply to become 10 but then subtract out to become 3? Multiply to become 10 but subtract out to become 3. And that only possibility is here, are 2 and 5. So we know for sure x, x, and 2 and 5. We can again write 5 and 2. The order doesn't matter. But the signs do. And which of these win? We need more negative, so which of these numbers have to be negative, the 2 or the 5? So we're going to choose the 5 to be negative and the 2 to be positive because they have to be one of each sign, one positive and negative, because when they multiply they have to become negative 10, right? Negative 10. So it's a positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive. We're not sure which one it is. That's why we want to make sure we know we have to have one of each. And then we assign, I'm going to give 5, thank you, the 5 the negative, because we want to have more negatives. As you can see, I put a negative 5 there, and negative 5 plus 2 is a negative 3, more negatives. Alright, so these were pretty easy, and I call these level 1 problems because you just have to find out one number in the back, multiply out to become the last number, and then they combine to become the middle number. Now, today we're going to kick it up a notch because we haven't dealt with what if there's a number in the front. What if that number in the front changes? And I'm going to give you the example here. If I write 2x, okay, 2x, and then I'll write plus 15, and we'll do plus 11. So 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. Okay. Now we could try to do what we did before, and we can say what numbers make up 15? 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. Okay, and sure, these numbers multiply to become 15, but none of these combine to become 11. And the reason why is because let's look at what we normally do when we are foiling, when we're multiplying these out. So the answer I'm going to write here is 2x. This is the answer, what it is. And x, that's how we got 2x squared. The back, we're going to choose the numbers 5 and 3. So I'm going to put a 3 here, and a 5, and a plus plus. Now, I want to show you guys how we come up with our 2x squared from our answer. We always multiply the front by the front, don't we? So in this case, we multiply the 2x by the x. Now, we don't have that up here on my left-hand side. So this is what we need to do. We need to write down not only all the possibilities for the front, but all the possibilities for the back, but all the possibilities for the front now. So would you agree only way of making 2 is 2 times 1? So we have 2 times 1 in the front, and 1 times 15, and 3 times 5 in the back. Okay, so 2 times 1 is 2x squared. And then 2 multiplies the number in the back. Doesn't this 2 times the back number? So we have to make this 2 multiply a number in the back. So 2 times 3 is 6x. Alright, we're done with the 2. It's 5's turn. 5 times 3. No, 5 times 1 first. See, and look, now 5 is going to multiply by this 1. So, in essence, what we're doing is we're multiplying numbers in the front by numbers in the back. And these numbers in the front has the numbers in the back combine to give us the number in the middle. And the back is still the back. 5 times 3 is 15. And this is where it gets a little tricky. These new numbers, a combination of the front and the back, 2 times 3 and 5 times 1, give us that 11 combo that we wanted. So we have 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. So how are we supposed to figure that out? I mean, if I give you the answer, it's easy to verify. But if I just give you a bunch of possibilities, we're going to have to do what I call speed dating. Have you guys heard of speed dating? Where you go around and you meet one person. So here's what speed dating is. You join a big party, you pay some money to go there. Let's say 10 bucks, 15, 20 bucks. And the idea is the whole goal is to meet people. And what they do is they line up people on tables. Okay, and then you have different numbers, people, right? And so boys and girls will start rotating from table to table, meeting new people. So you'll talk to this group first, right? A and 5 will talk to you. Let's say A is a boy and a girl. Okay, this is a girl, female and male. And then let's say this is how they're set up. And so you guys will talk for 5 minutes. They'll ring a bell, and then you'll rotate over. And then you talk to 4 for a little bit, for 5 minutes. And then you talk to 3 for 5 minutes. And you talk to 2 for 5 minutes. And everyone's going around in this big circle, meeting people. Okay, sounds a little bit weird, but that's what people do. Now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start speed dating our numbers to figure out which of these numbers would make 11 in this case. So let's go back and look at our problem, and let me show you how I like to teach this. I try to keep it as organized as possible by writing out the numbers. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to first try dating 2 and 1, and if 2 and 1 date, then 1 has to date 15. Are you guys visually okay with that? If 2 dates 1, then I have to multiply the 1 with someone, and 1 and 15. And when I do that, we get 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 15 is 15. Do they add up to 11? Do they add up to 11? Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, try again. Fail. Speed date. Try 2 and 15's turn, and 1 times 1. This is 30 plus 1. Is 30 plus 1 11? Before you even wrote it down, you knew that that was way too big, right? 30, way too big. I need to try to get to 11, not 31. Okay, so we know those don't work. Fail. So then we try our next set. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. Are you guys okay with 6 and 5? Okay, do they add up to 11? And for this to be true, they both have to be plus and plus, because that's how we end up with a positive 11. So that's our first trick that we have to make sure. We have to find out which pair of numbers work. Now, the second part is making sure we get them in the right order. We have 4 places to put numbers, and we have 4 numbers to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what number goes where is the next tricky part. And here's the next tricky part. What number goes where? So here's the way I do it. I say, well, don't we know for sure 2 and 1 work? So we're going to say 2x and 1x in the front. Now, am I going to put it the 3 and the 5 in the back, or the 5 and the 3? And that actually matters because that will change our answer. 2 times 3 or 2 times 5, those are totally different results. So we have to figure out which of these 4 numbers work. Now, this is what I do. I draw what I call a frog face. Have you guys ever seen a frog? Look at that. Doesn't that look like a frog? Ribbit, ribbit. I draw my little frog face here. And why? Because this is this line right here. Right there. That's my outer line. So who do we multiply 2 by to make this problem work? Who do we multiply the 2 by to make this problem work? Didn't we need the 6? So we said 2 times 3. So I know for sure I want to use the 3 in the back. If I use the 3 in the back, I need to use the 5 in the front. Okay, take a look at what I did there again. I said 2 times the 3, that speed date worked out nicely. I wanted the 6. So I have to do that with my factors. Because the way we end up with that middle terms is always the outer and the inner terms. It's always the outer and the inner. So what's my outer? Outer is 2 times 3. My inner is 5 times 1, sure. Now let's figure out the signs. Plus plus means we're going to have a positive 5 and a positive 6, right? Isn't that positive 5 and isn't that positive 6? And positive 5 and positive 6 add up to positive 11, which is what we wanted. Okay, we're going to do this problem a couple more times. Different variations of it. Now, before we get to the other variations, so that's our end goal. That's what our goal is. But right now, I want you to come up, I want you to help me solve this puzzle, okay? I'm going to help me solve this puzzle. I'm just going to give you some numbers to play with. So in the front, if I choose 2 and 1, in the back, I'm going to choose 1, 20, 2, 10, 4, 5. Which of these pairs can I multiply and then combine, add up to a positive 14? My goal is 14, okay? This is my goal. I want you to see which numbers could you date. Front times the back number, okay? And the other times the other. Which of these possibilities could I multiply to get 14? Multiply and then add to 14. Okay, if you know the answers, go ahead and just type them in the chat. You can private it to me so I can see you guys can catch it. And great job. Okay. Which of these could I multiply together and then combine them to become 14? Right, so we're going to look at each of these levels. Each of these are a pair, and we can only choose one of these pairs. Okay, so our goal is to get 14, that's right. But which of these on the right is going to be 120, 210, or 45? Which of these pairs would give me that 14 I wanted? 120, 210, and 45 through addition. Great job, William. Great job, Dulce. Oh wait, no, Dulce, nope. That one is not going to work. We love 45. 45 is our popular 20 number. But which of these multiply? So that's start speed dating, okay? So 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 times 20, the other guy, right? You have to take the other pair if you're double dating, right? Cry. So you're 20. And do they add up to 14? Nope. Okay. That didn't work. So we flip. So we do 2 times 20 in my head. Okay, I'm multiplying 2 times 20. 2 times 20 is 40. So 1 has to multiply the other guy. Oh man, I got the loser. I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't mean that. Does that add up to 14? Nope. Okay, we know that that was a fail. You, sir, don't work. Okay, then we try the next pair. 2 times 1, no, 2 times 2 is 4. So 1 times the 10, right, 1 times 10 is 10. Does that add up to 14? Yeah, right? So this one worked. No other set's going to work for us. If we try the other one, 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 5 is 5. If no, those don't work. If I switch it, 2 times the 10, 5 is 10. 4 times 4 is 4. Oh, that also works. Okay. So sometimes we end up with a more than one possible set here, and it's because we have a common factor. But let's use the one that we first start off with. Here we go. So that's our game plan. Our game plan is start to try testing which numbers will work. And for this problem, this was actually 2x squared plus 14x plus 20. Okay. Right. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 1 is 2. And then we were trying to combine to get 14. It's okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, totally. Okay, we're going to try this again. I'm going to give you guys another set of numbers. 3 and 1. We're going to choose 1, 8, and 2, and 4. And which of these will come up with 14 again? Okay, so you're going to speed date and try to figure out which of these combinations am I going to use the 1 and 8 and 2 and 4 with the 3 and 1 to come up with 14. Let's see if you guys can come up with this answer here. And if you know it, go type in the chat. You can do it on private and see you caught it. And if you're not sure, just go through them all. You got it. Got it. So what happens is I'm trying to train your brain to see that you can just be coming up with all the possibilities in your brain so you don't have to write them all down. But when you're showing work, you want to write them all down because I want to see what you're thinking. Okay, so let's just try all these. If I say 3 times 2, who do you want to multiply 3 by first? Let's try 3 and 1. 3 times 1, right, is 3. So 1 has to date the other guy. Ah, poor 1. Do they add up to 14? Nope. Okay, so that doesn't work. Well, if it doesn't work one way, you flip it. Try again. 3 times 8 now. 3 times 8 is 24. And then 1 has to multiply the 1, and that's going to be 1. That's not even close to it. You should have stopped by then, right? Too high, right? You should have realized, hey, that was a fail. So we don't have to write them all, but I want you guys to see what my brain is doing. Then I'm going to go try 3 times the 2 now because all the other ones failed. Good job, man. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 and 1 times the other guy, right? We're dating here. You can't date the same person. That'd be awkward. That's 4. That's 10. That's too small. And then we'll do 3 times the 4 and 1 times the 2. 3 times the 4 is 12, and 1 times the 2 is 2. Oh, we found it. Unfortunately, those are literally our last possible guess. So the idea here is we are trying to come up with combinations that work. So for this original problem, it would have been 3x, because 3 times 1 is 3. In the back, it would have been 8, because 1 times 8, 2 times 4 is both 8. And the middle number we were trying to get is 14. So which of these combinations work? We said for sure 3 and 1 in the front, 3x and x in the front. Now, we have 2 and 8 worked, right? So I should have circled that before. 2 and 8 worked. No, sorry, 2 and 4. Saying the answer. 2 and 4 worked. Now, do I write 2 here or do I write 4 here? Now, let me show you my little frog face here. Just a reminder, right? The frog face here. Take a look. Hi, frog face. Who do we multiply the 3 to make this work? Was it by the 2 or the 4? Hopefully you realize that we multiplied the 4, right? 3 times 4 is a 12. So that's why I write the 4 there. And if that's 4, this guy can't be 4. It has to be 2. The front has to be now 2. Since it's a plus plus, we're going to say, hey, isn't a plus 12 and a plus 2 a plus 14? These were going to be plus plus for us. Don't worry about it, Emilio. We're good. All right, so let's do one more. Let's do 5 and 2 here. And I'm going to choose the number 1, 21, and 7 and 3. Okay, this one doesn't have many options. And then our goal is we're going to try to get the number. This one will be a little bit bigger, but 29. Our goal is to get 29. Okay. So go ahead and start playing with numbers. If we start dating the 5 around and the 2 around, which of these would add up to become 29? And if you have the number ready, let me know. Okay, I got people who are answering already. Good job. And that's right. Okay. If you can find the numbers that work, you can go ahead and type them in the chat and I'll tell you yes or no. So remember, we're dating numbers in the front. Pick one, and then the other number has to date the other guy. And we're going to add them to see if they come up with 29. Yep, I'll take it. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one, as long as, because we're going to try both of them, right? Okay, so I'm getting a couple of people answering, and they're telling me 7 and 3 are going to work. Okay, so let's just do 7 and 3. I'm just going to jump to it. If we say 7 times 5 times 3, sorry, that one we're doing, 5 times 7, let's try that first. That's going to give us 35. But can't you see 35 is already too big? So because 2 times 3 has to become 6, and those guys do not add up to become 29. So one of you guys told me that you're going to flip it, and you're right. If I choose 5 times 3 is 15, and 7 times 2 is 14, you have found the set that works. Right? So the goal is numbers that multiply, but then still add up in this case to become 29. So there could be a lot of possibilities. So we're going to end up writing maybe a little bit, so our brain doesn't get too confused. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our problem. The problem should have been 10x squared plus 29x plus 21. This would have been slightly confusing, right? This is a huge number. Now, how do we get 10? Isn't that 5 times 2? Or this could have been 10 times 1. So I actually took away one of the possibilities for you. To make 21 in the back, that's 1 times 21 and 7 times 3. And we're going to try to add them to become 29. Try to add them to become 29. So when we did the problem, you told me that 5 and 2 are our possibilities, and we have to try to mix those with 7 and 3. Now, does 7 go in the front, 7 go in the back? I'm going to draw my little frog face here. Here we go. Take a look here. We multiplied the 5 by the 3, right? That's how we got the 15. And then we're going to write 7 there then. So we have all the numbers in the right places, and we want to make sure we get the signs correct. That's going to be plus plus, because we said we were going to add up to become a positive. Okay, plus plus is plus plus. These problems are definitely harder than what we did before, because there's so many more possibilities. You guys ever go to a Baskin Robbins before, and there's like 31 flavors? Right? That's like double the amount of flavors at my local Thrifties. So there's so many more combinations, which make this a harder choice. If you just went to my fridge, you would just see I have chocolate ice cream. Yeah, one choice. Take it or leave it. Okay, so let's go and take a look at these problems in context now that you guys have kind of seen the method that we're using. So let's use 5x squared. We're going to choose plus 15, and we're going to say this is going to be plus 28x. So the way I set these up, so if I can't spot it right away, I'll take my time. Numbers that multiply to become 5, we're going to write 5 and 1 in the front. You guys go with that? how many ways can I make 15? Not that many. So I'm going to write them out. 1, 15, and 3, and 5. Now I want you to start speed dating. Do any of the combinations add up to become 28? Do any of the combinations add up to become 28? And maybe you can spot them really quickly. Maybe it's not as obvious sometimes, so you have to go through all of them. So start picking 5 and start dating it either with a 1 or 15 or 3 and 5, and then 1 will date the other person. And see if those new numbers add up to become 28. And if you have a number that works, please let me know. Will this work with 1 and 15 or 3 and 5? Okay, I'm getting someone telling me 3 and 5 will work. So if you're not sure, just do out the numbers. 1 times 5 is 5, and and then 1 has 15 is 15. That does not add up to 28. Good job. If that doesn't work, try the next one. 5 times 15 is 75. Well, that's way too big. Don't even bother. Keep going. We are done. 115 does not work. Then we try the next set. 5 times 3. 5 times 3. And 1 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 5 is 5. Nope. That still doesn't give me 28. So we flip it and try again. You don't have to draw these arrows. These are arrows just so that you can see what my brain is doing. 5 times 5 and 1 times 3. 5 times 5 is 25, and 1 times 3 is 3. And these do add up. Don't they add up to 28? You got it. Okay. So what we do is we write the numbers in the front. These are front numbers, and these are back numbers. So we know for front, 5x and x. Now what do you think goes in the back? We said 3 and 5 work, right? 3 and 5. But you gotta make sure, is it 5 and 3 or 3 and 5? Because those look totally different. If your friend tells you his address is 503, right, is that the same as 305? Right, order does matter here. If I promised you $503 or $305, right? Order does matter. And if we write the wrong order, we end up with the wrong pair. So 5 times, we said 5 times 3 here. Nope, we said 5 times 5, right? Because we wanted the 25. And then this, if this is 5, right? If one's 5, the other one has to be 3. This has to be 3. Since this is a plus, it's plus plus. Okay, that's continued. We are ready. Today's a short day, so we are running out of time. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 more examples, and then we'll call it. Okay. And then you guys have to get ready for your next class. All right. So let's do another example. What if we have subtraction or negative signs? So we can do the same problem. 5x squared minus 28x plus 15. Now we said 5 and 1 worked, and 3 and 5 worked, right? So when you multiply them, you ended up with 25 and 3. Okay, that's what we did previously. Same exact steps that we did previously. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 3 is 3. And they do add up. They do add up to become 28. But how can I make them negative 28? Well, just like before, they both have to be negative. Because isn't a negative times a negative a positive 15? And a negative 5 times 5 is negative 25, and 1 times negative 3 is negative. So they would end up both being negative. So we end up with that negative 28. So this is why this can be a little, I would say, confusing sometimes, because there are so many possibilities. So we said we're going to have 5x and x in the front. Now what numbers make up 15? We said 3 and 5, but which order? And don't you remember, we said 5 times 5 gave us that 25. So I'm going to write 5 here, and we're going to write 3 on the other. And to remind us, now we put in the signs. We said the signs were both be negative 5 and negative 3 to end up with a positive 15. Now we're going to use the same numbers again this time. Same numbers. Except this time, I'm going to give you guys 5x squared minus 22x minus 15. Okay, 5x squared minus 22x minus 15. Now we're going to use the same number. We said 5 and 1 and 3 and 5. These are still going to work for us. That's not a problem, Kyra. Now, because we have a negative sign, remember how we always subtract to become the middle term? That's what we're going to do here. Does 5 times 5 become 25? And 1 times 3 becomes 3. Do they subtract out to become 22? Can you guys check that for me? Does 5 times 5 25 and 1 times 3 is 3? Do they subtract out to become 22? Right? 25 minus 3 is 22. Now, you know what? This is going to be great. That works. 5x and x, because that's 5x and x multiplied become 5x squared. The back we said 3 and 5, and we said 25, so I'm going to write a 5 in the back. Please take a look. I'm going to write a 5 in the back, and then I'm going to write a 3 in the front. Now, okay, so now here is the problem. We know that they subtract to become 22, but who has to win? Which sign has to win? Don't the negatives have to win? So who do you want to give the negative sign to? Because we can only give 1% negative. It's either going to be a negative 3 and a positive 5, or a positive 5 and a negative 3. Oh, sorry, that's the same thing. Whoops. It's going to be a positive 3 and negative 5. Now, here is the trick. We need more negatives. We want more negatives than positives, don't we? So do you see how 25 has to be negative? Because we need more negatives. So I want to make the 5 back here a negative, because we were going to get a 25 from that. And the 3 has to be a positive. That's why these can be a lot more tricky, because you have to figure out which sign goes where. So it would be a negative 5 in the back and a positive 3. If you want to flip this around and write x minus 5 and 5x plus 3, this would also be an okay answer, but as you notice, the signs and the numbers are still in the same groups. Okay, we'll do one more like this so you guys can see the pattern. Okay. So we're going to say 3x, and we'll say 8 here, and we'll say minus. So we're going to say plus 10x. Okay. So that's, I'm going to write down all the possibilities. Oh, sorry, that's a squared. We have 3 and 1 in the front. We have 1, 8, and 2 and 4. Can you guys spot the possibility that subtract out to become 10? And let's see how fast you can do that. 1, 8, 2, 4. Which of these possibilities would subtract out to become 10? For sure we have 3x and x in the front. Now, which of these? I have someone answer. That's right. That is the good answer. Anyone else in the chat? You guys tell me which numbers will work. Would the 1, 8 or the 2, 4 work? 3 times 1. If I try it, 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 8 is 8. They do not subtract out because they're subtracting, right? Minus sign. They don't subtract out to become 10. If I flip it, 24 and 1. 1 times 1. Nope, that's way too big. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 4 is 4. Nope. 3 times 2 is 12. And 1 times 2 is 2. So you're doing this all in your head, trying to figure out which of these combinations would subtract out to become 10. And if you're not, write them down. See, I wrote them down. So are you guys okay that 3 times 4 and 1 times 2, that gives me my 12. And don't they subtract out to become 10? So we know which one works. So I'm going to write it. 3 times, what number goes in the back? Would that be 3 times 2 or 3 times 4? Hopefully you see that it's 3 times 4. If this is 4, this number here has to be right. 4 and 2, the other number has to be 2. Now here's the last trick. You have to make sure you catch this one. Which of these add up, which of these subtract out to become 10? A positive 10. Well, that means the 12 has to be positive and the 2 has to be negative. Take a look at me writing the signs there. You see I wrote 12 as positive and 2 as negative? So 12 has to be positive and 2 has to be negative, so that we end up with a positive 12x and a minus 2x. That gives us our positive 10x that we wanted. If this problem was written 3x squared minus 10x minus 8, the numbers 3 and 1 and 2 and 4 would still work. 3 times 4 is 12, 1 times 2 is 2. They would still work, right? They would still work. But we need the negatives to win here. So for this problem, looks so similar. The numbers are still the same. The positions are still the same. Except since we need more negatives to win, we would give the negative to the 4 because that gives us our negative 12 and a positive 2 here, which is our goal. Okay. All right, so you're going to practice some of this on the IXL. If you guys do not finish, that's fine. We'll go over this again tomorrow because today was a short day. So go ahead and try this on IXL. See how far you can get. Maybe it will start clicking for you. I write these possibilities on the top because I don't know which one they're going to be. So I find it easier as I'm learning to write these possibilities. And if I have to write down them all out, I'll do it because I need to get the answer right. Okay, and maybe it's the one I skipped was the right answer. All right. So hopefully you found that helpful, and that's it for today. If you guys get stuck, you guys can email me the question. If not, save it for tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow.